Yesterday evening, Zelensky announced that he is ready to hold presidential elections in Ukraine, but, according to him, this requires changes in law and safety. How does the Kremlin respond to these announcements? And, maybe, since it was yesterday in Moscow and today in Washington, have you managed to get in touch with colleagues from the USA in the Kremlin?
No, they didn't have time to discuss it with anyone. The statement is quite new. This is what President Putin had been talking about for a long time. This is what President Trump had talked about quite recently. So let's see how the events will develop in this direction.
Russia proposed to end the attacks on the natural gas sector by the summer, and Zelensky rejected that proposal then, saying that the dating is not the same as it was a while ago. Will Russia hold the meeting in time? How does Moscow evaluate this reassessment of the situation on behalf of Kiev? Is there any basis for us to go to that meeting? Thank you.
The first thing I will leave now is some nuances. But we are working on peace, not truce, stable guaranteed long-term peace. Did the Kremlin have time to get to know the Trump interview with Politico? How would you look at Trump's claims about the conflict in Ukraine, the peace process, NATO, and the main, let's say, problems mentioned by the US president regarding the US-Russia relationship? Of course. We met her very carefully during the interview. The policy that concerned us and the issue of Ukrainian regulation is a very important interview and a very important statement. To a great extent, in terms of NATO membership, in terms of territory and so forth, in terms of how Ukraine is losing its lands. This sounds to our understanding, and in many ways, President Trump has touched on the first cause of this conflict, as far as NATO is concerned. This is very important from the perspective of a single-minded regulation.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.